Good morning everybody. This is my 190e, which I've had for way more than I would like to admit, way longer than I would like to admit. So I've had this car for probably over a year. I've never driven it and I've barely ever even sat in it. We made a decision to engine swap this, and it's been a long process due to many different things. One is that it's been at Rusty's and we just have both been so busy, it's really hard to kind of get our schedules to collide. Two, it's a Mercedes and I didn't know how hard it would be to source Merc parts. Trying to find Mercedes parts is an absolute nightmare because Mercedes won't quote you on parts or give you any information on any part without a registration. So when you're trying to find parts for a really unique car, which is what we need, which has got the manual gearbox from a unique car, they won't quote any parts. So trying to find parts just takes months of research on the internet or praying that someone in the forum pops up and actually tells you. That was a nightmare. And three, I just wasn't as confident as I am now with engine swaps. I didn't really have the knowledge. Recently I've been doing more engine swaps on my motorbike and looking at engine swaps on my E30, which is going to be happening, so I kind of have a much better idea now. Now this with a combination that this car needs to get done. We're down here at Rusty for the next day or two, whatever, and this car, the engine will be in the 190 while I'm down here for this short amount of time. It is going to happen. Running might be a little bit of an issue because we've had issues with the wiring, and me being stupid, when we took all that wiring out the SLK, I didn't fully know that I should have labelled everything and kept the throttle and all these little things, which I do know now. So we're going to have a little bit of a hurdle when it comes to getting it running potentially. But this engine will be in very shortly. So let's get inside and let's just start this process, because you guys all want to see this car running. So do I. And these guys want to get rid of it.
So hello guys, long time no see.
Been a while.
I see that you guys have been very busy.
Always very busy.
Always very busy, but they have managed to find time to get their 370.
So it, 350 done.
Which I'll show you guys through a walk around in a minute, but we all want to get started. So here is, I even forgot what fucking engine this is called. What's it called? An M111? That's it. Should have just used a V8, mate. We said this with the S13, should have just dropped a V8 in there. Just V8 the world, don't fuck around with these shitty little four-cylinder bullshits.
I'm only joking, this is going to be pretty cool.
So here is the M111 engine. In the last episodes, we found that we ran into more issues getting parts. I have sourced those parts, however annoying it may be, and however Mercedes don't want to help. But pretty much, this engine is going in that car. Like, this engine is going to be in the car today. I don't. It's going to be in the car. It's going to be in the car today.
One more another, it's going to be in the car.
It's going to be in the car. You know, whether it's in the back on the way to a scrapyard,
it's going to be in the car.
It's going to be in the car. You'll see that we did the supercharger service and blah 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 blah. We found the right release bearing for the clutch. No thank you to Mercedes, thank you to William Pittner from, I can't remember where he's from, some Eastern European country. I think he's from Germany or something. It's not Eastern European, but it's European. Some European country. We need to change the Sump because the Sump's got a crack in it. And then we're going to mount up the gearbox and the clutch and the flywheel and hope that everything's alright. This is where it's easier. If you are doing this, people, I would just do an engine where A, it already comes with a manual gearbox. Don't try and auto swap something. Or B, if you are auto swapping something, make sure there's companies out there which make custom flywheels and custom adaptation plates. And that's it. Like, don't do what we've done of get a part from this, get a part from that, and try and find this, try and find that. It's an absolute nightmare. Just pay the money and just get a company to make a custom adaptation kit and a custom flywheel. Which is what I'm going to be doing for my E30, which is why it's going to be a lot easier project. But we've done it anyway, and we found parts from all over the fucking world, from many different random people on eBay and Facebook. It's been a journey. So that's what we're going to be doing today. First of all, we're going to be putting the Sump on, and we're going to be mounting up the flywheel, mounting up the clutch, and mounting up the gearbox. And it is going in that fucking car today. Alright, so we drain the oil. We're going to flip her over so we can get the Sump off. Oh, it's the exhaust, isn't it? So here comes Sump. Right, the Sump is on and all torqued up. Which way are we going? That way, yeah. So we're going to flip it back over. Now we can start putting the, start doing the box things, the gearbox things, which is the thing which has actually been the cause of most of the problems, which has been like the gearbox and the clutch, the pressure plate and the release bearing. That has been the main source of all of the issues and source at the time. So I'm hoping that this is all good. Okay, so one thing that did go to plan and is awesome is that there is a guy on eBay which makes these little things. Now, considering these are 40 quid, so I mean it's not cheap, but considering it's literally just some like 4mm plate and it's a bit expensive, but it is what it is. So this allows you to take off the power steering pump off the M11, and you can use the old power steering pump and old factory lines using this adapter. So we definitely got it. So we're going to take this power steering pump off and then put this new one on, and that means we can just use the old lines and everything's already connected to the car, and we can already use hydraulic lines for this power steering, so we won't need to mess about with any of that bullshit sack. Should be, that's the old pump. This should allow this pump, I think it's just going to give you a couple of different ways to mount. Well, that doesn't, a bit confused. So it's a bit confusing, but if you look at this side on the power steering bracket, it's got like it's already got an adapter here. So this, take this one off, and then this replaces that. So you've got all them bolts now line up. So we take this off, we use them 2 bolts for there, 2 new bolts through here, and then guessing that'll just allow it to sit flat then as well. So it's just some extra support really. It was a bit awkward to try to get this on properly, but following the pictures from matey boy who sold it, we have managed to get it on. It's something like this, and we were like, oh well, the pulley's way off, but there's this weird UFO looking pulley which comes back down here. So with that thing on eBay, it actually tells you which belt to buy as well. So it's a 6PK 1815 because you have lengthened it a little bit, so that's good to know. So we're just going to bolt this back on, put the belts on. And I've said this about 6 times already, but then we're going to start bolting up the gearbox and the flywheel and the clutch and the release bearing. So there's the wiring loop for the engine. So it's that all literally one, which is nice. We plug that into the ECU. Then we get those 3 big bags of wiring, chuck them in the passenger seat. We find the key. We plug the clocks in. We connect it to the battery. We need to figure out to get fuel. And then we just turn the key. You can actually sit in the boot with the key and go, and realistically, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to hold you.
I think so. This is a clutch fork that we need. And this is the release bearing that we need. Now normally release bearings, they have like a little, they just pop on and they have like a little clip just to stop them from, you know, flying off. This one doesn't, and we don't know how it fits in. This seems a bit too tight on this side to go like that. But there isn't anywhere it looks like we can put a clip. It's very confusing, so we're not really sure what's going on. So we've messaged one of the guys, messaged William, who's been helping us. So we're going to see what he's done regarding that. So we're going to leave that for now. But for now, we can start doing the crank and the flywheel and the blah blah blah. So on this, to put that gearbox on this engine, the input shaft is longer. So whereas the bearings would be in the flywheel, now we've got to push them further back into the crank. So we've explained this in the old episode. So we've got the 2 of these bearings. I'll put them on the screen. I think they're a 6.2 something, and they're just going to sit in the crank like that. So that means that when the gearbox shaft goes in, it's going to sit. The end of the gearbox shaft is going to sit in these bearings. Whereas if these were in the crank, the actual spline would be hitting these. So that's what we don't want. So we have to machine out the flywheel, and where these would be in the flywheel's machined out so the input shaft can go through the flywheel, and then the end of the input shaft is going to be now sitting in these bearings in the crank.
How's it going?
Right, so we've got the 2 bearings in. So this is going to be the input shaft. That's the input shaft.
Good demonstration.
So, thanks guys, thanks for the demonstration. So now we're going to bolt the flywheel up. Right, so this is a flywheel off a 5-speed manual pre-facelift SLK 230, which was a nightmare to find. What we had to do is, so these bearings would initially sit inside here in the flywheel. So we took the bearings out of there, put them in the crank, and this had to be machined out just a little bit so that the import shaft of the gearbox would actually sit through the flywheel. So we're going to bolt this one up. Flywheel's going on, hopefully. Here we go, let's see if it actually bolts up properly. Does that feel right?
Yeah.
Yeah!
Just need to torque it up.
Yeah! Yes, queen! Doing some engine revolutions.
It's difficult with fanning blade.
What did you say, Jack's got some good compression?
Yeah.
Not scared. That looked pretty square, looks pretty square to me.
Yeah, it's not.
Oh. It's not what?
It's not. It's not.
It's not what? It's not hitting anything.
No, it's not. Weren't like that either.
Oh, that's good. I thought it was going to say
That's good,
something
yeah.
negative.
That's good.
Yeah, that's good, yeah.
Do you want a bigger bar?
Clutch is going on. Let's get it on. To try and get the box on, it wouldn't slide on a minute ago. So we've realigned the clutch again. Hopefully it will go on. The clutch goes over this on its own, and when the clutch isn't on, that goes into the flywheel. So it's kind of like, it must be an alignment issue. Hey! Right.
That was without the metal thing.
Yeah, so now we need to put this on because we might have to cut this down a little bit, because apparently someone in the past hadn't cut this and it basically welded itself to the fucking flywheel, so. Yeah. Right, so now we've put what would you call that? The release bearing sleeve. There's a bit of a gap.
5 mil.
So we're going to have to chop off a bit of that sleeve, but we can't chop too much of it off because the release bearing might slide off it, and if we don't chop enough off, it's going to be hitting the flywheel. So we're going to get this bang on. So how much is it, guys? Is it 5 mil or something?
Yeah, it's 5
Maybe it
mil.
was 5. So we're going to chop 5 mil off that sleeve and go again. Right, so this is the sleeve, and the release bearing sits over that. You can see where it's been sliding up to. So we need to cut around 7 or 8 mil. We're still deciding 7 or 8 off the end of this, so that this doesn't touch this.
Otherwise, big problem.
But we can, as long as the majority of the release bearing is over that sleeve, it doesn't mind if it goes a bit further, right?
If we do 8, it doesn't come off that anyway.
Yeah, right, yeah, I think we do 8. And then we've got a 5 mil gap there, and that leaves a couple of mil clearance.
Yeah.
Let's do 8. Let's cut 8. Right, so we've cut off 8 mil. We've measured it, and it's pretty bang on. Give it a little bit of a clean. So now we're going to bolt it up to the gearbox and see if the gearbox bolts up to the engine. So Jack's just going to paint the end of that thing and see if it touches here, because if it comes out, we've got paint on here, then we know it needs to be cut a bit more.
Oh.
There we are.
1 second. Lock it up.
No.
Nothing.
So we're good. So our release bearing is just a little bit too big, so we don't want to whack it in there, so we won't have any movement. So I'm just going to get a flapping wheel. You can take a little bit off these little metal bits on each side. So we have the gearbox on, it's all bolted up, the starter motor is on. All we got to do now is pray that when we give it a clutch pedal we actually have one, right?
Yeah. Pray.
That's the thing we're praying for. So, I mean, what's the plan now then? Have we got anything to do before we put it in the car, or?
I don't think so.
No, we just send it.
It's in now. Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
going in.
So yes, in the next video you're going to see we're going to be putting the engine in the car. Do we know what we're doing with the gearbox mount? Oh yeah, it's the same gearbox as the car.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it's all fine.
So hopefully it all fits. Well, yeah. Wait, we don't need to get the prop measured. I'm being wrong. We don't need to do anything with the prop.
No, we shouldn't.
It's the same gearbox.
Depends.
And apparently with these engine mounts,
Yeah, they all sit
you
in the same
should,
place.
it all sits in the right place.
Yeah, so yeah.
So, this is exciting stuff. In the next video for you guys, we're going to be putting the engine back in the car. If it's the same gearbox mount, we've got the new engine mounts, it's just going to sit on the engine mounts, hopefully the gearbox mount bolts up, prop bolts up, and then we can go do some sense. Simple as that. It's only took a year. Well, so we're just bolting up the final, well, not the final thing, we're just literally bolting up the starter motor there. Somewhere in those 3 bin bags of wiring we have the positive for the starter motor. Somewhere in that bag of wiring. And then we need to find a way how we're going to give it fuel. That's one of the things. I think we have got the standard fuel lines. Have we? Or do we not?
I don't know, we'll find
I'm
out.
not sure.
Yeah, we're going to see what the fuel lines are for this. And I mean, in a real world, in an amazing world, I mean, they'll just reach and have the same thread.
Pray.
I don't think that's going to happen. But we shall see. So we'll see you in the next episode.